New York. A city whose name is known by almost every person around the world. A city of skyscrapers, busy streets, yellow taxis, a massive subway system, Times Square, Wall Street, and millions of dreams. Every year, people from all over the world come to this city looking for jobs, starting businesses, pursuing education, or simply hoping to build a new life. But before coming to New York, there is one very important question you need to answer. How much money do you actually need to live in this city in 2026? You may find completely different answers online. Some people say that $3,000 a month is enough to live in New York. Others say that life can be difficult without an income of $5,000 or $6,000 a month. In reality, both statements can be true to some extent. The reason is simple. The cost of living in New York is not the same for everyone. It depends on where you live, whether you live alone or with roommates, whether you cook at home or eat at restaurants, whether you use public transportation or drive a car, and how expensive your lifestyle is. For most people, housing is the biggest monthly expense in New York. If you want to live in Manhattan, you need to be prepared for a significant financial commitment. In popular parts of Manhattan, the monthly rent for even a relatively small apartment can cost several $1,000s. If the apartment is in a desirable location, a modern building, or offers additional amenities, the rent can be much higher. Even within the same neighborhood, rental prices can vary significantly depending on the exact location. But that does not mean you have to live in Manhattan to live in New York City. Other boroughs can offer more affordable options. In many parts of Brooklyn, rent can be lower than in Manhattan. Queens is also a popular choice for people who want to reduce their housing costs while maintaining convenient access to the rest of the city. Some areas of the Bronx and Staten Island can offer even more affordable housing options. Another popular way to reduce housing costs is to live with roommates. Instead of renting an entire apartment by yourself, you can share an apartment with one or more people. This can significantly reduce the amount you have to pay each month. In an expensive city like New York, sharing an apartment can be a practical solution for many people. A young professional, for example, may choose to share a larger apartment with 2 or 3 other people instead of renting an apartment alone, allowing them to save hundreds or even thousands of dollars every month. Then comes the cost of food. New York offers an enormous variety of food options. You can find almost every type of cuisine from around the world. But with that variety comes an important question. How often are you going to eat outside? If you mostly cook at home and shop carefully at supermarkets, you can keep your food expenses under control. Planning your meals, buying groceries for the week, cooking at home, and avoiding unnecessary food waste can make a major difference to your monthly budget. But if you eat at restaurants regularly, buy coffee every day, or frequently order food delivery, your monthly expenses can increase very quickly. In New York, even an ordinary meal can cost much more than expected once taxes, tips, and delivery charges are added. And if you regularly eat at high-end restaurants, your monthly food budget can easily reach $1,000 or more. Then there is transportation. One of New York's biggest advantages is its enormous public transportation system. The subway and bus network allows millions of people to travel to work, school, and other destinations every day. If you need to travel across the city regularly, public transportation can often be much more affordable than owning a car. Owning a car means paying not only for gas but also for parking, insurance, maintenance, and other expenses. In some parts of New York, finding parking can be difficult and expensive. That is why many people who live in the city choose to live without a car. If your home is close to a subway station and your workplace can also be reached easily by public transportation, you may be able to save a significant amount of money every month. Then there are utility bills, including electricity, gas, internet, and mobile phone service. These expenses may seem small compared with rent, but they can add up over time. During the winter, heating costs can increase your utility bills. During the summer, heavy use of air conditioning can also increase electricity costs. Healthcare is another important part of your budget in New York. Medical expenses in the United States can be extremely high, and the amount you pay out of pocket depends heavily on the type of health insurance you have. You may receive insurance through your employer, purchase insurance yourself, or have access to another option depending on your circumstances. So, when planning your monthly budget, you cannot look only at rent and food. There are also other expenses, including clothing, personal care, entertainment, gym memberships, streaming subscriptions, and unexpected personal expenses. New York is a city where there is no shortage of opportunities to spend money. You can live a very simple lifestyle, or you can eat at new restaurants every day, go shopping, attend events, and spend heavily on entertainment. Now let's come to the most important question. How much should a person earn if they want to live alone in New York in 2026? Imagine that you are living a very budget-conscious lifestyle. You share a room, cook your own meals, use public transportation, and avoid unnecessary purchases. In this situation, it is possible to keep your monthly expenses relatively low. But if you want your own apartment, want to live in a good neighborhood, eat out regularly, and have money available for entertainment, your monthly budget can quickly reach several $1,000s. A monthly budget of around $3,000 may be possible for one person in New York if they live a very frugal lifestyle, but it would be difficult to call that a comfortable lifestyle. You may need to share housing, limit restaurant meals, and keep unnecessary spending to an absolute minimum. With a budget of around $4,000 a month, you may have somewhat more flexibility. Depending on where you live and how much you pay in rent, you may be able to cover food, transportation, and personal expenses while maintaining some financial flexibility. With an income of $5,000 or more per month, the situation can become more comfortable for a single person, although even that amount can disappear quickly if you choose an expensive apartment in a desirable part of New York. And if you want to live alone in a popular area of Manhattan, eat out regularly, enjoy entertainment, and still save money at the same time, you may need a significantly higher income. However, there is one very important point to remember. When we say that someone earns $5,000 a month, that does not mean they have the full $5,000 available to spend. Depending on the situation, federal, state, and city taxes and other deductions may reduce the amount of money they actually take home. So, the amount you earn on paper may be significantly higher than the amount that reaches your bank account. That is why, when planning to live in New York, you should not look only at your salary. You need to know your after-tax income, how much money you will actually have after taxes and deductions, and how much will remain after paying rent, food, transportation, insurance, and other expenses. Another important factor is having an emergency fund. In an expensive city like New York, losing your job, facing an unexpected medical expense, or dealing with another emergency can create serious financial pressure. So it is not enough to earn just enough money to cover your monthly expenses. If possible, it is wise to save enough money to cover several months of living expenses. One of the most effective ways to save money in New York is to choose your housing carefully. If you live far from your workplace, your rent might be lower, but your transportation costs and daily travel time may increase. On the other hand, living close to work may mean paying higher rent. So you should not look only at the monthly rent. You should consider the distance to work, transportation costs, and the amount of time you spend traveling every day. Another way to save money is to become more conscious of your daily spending. If you spend just $10 extra every day, that can become more than $300 by the end of the month. Small daily expenses can have a surprisingly large impact on your monthly budget. A coffee, a food delivery, an unnecessary subscription, or a small online purchase may not seem expensive individually, but by the end of the year, these expenses can add up to thousands of dollars. So, living well in New York is not simply about earning more money. It is also about knowing how to manage the money you earn. In the end, there is no single answer to the question of exactly how much money you need to live in New York. $3,000 might be possible for one person, while even $5,000 might not be enough for another. Your lifestyle and location can completely change your budget. But one thing is certain. Before moving to New York, you should not look only at the beautiful images of the city, the skyscrapers, and the bright lights. You also need to understand the real cost of living. You should calculate your expected income, how much you will have after taxes, how much you will spend on housing, food, and transportation, and how much you can save every month.